All right, guys, tensions are ratcheting up. Kim Jong-un has claimed that the U.S. is preparing a chemical weapons attack against North Korea because we want to control the world. It says the North Koreans have accused the U.S. Friday of planning to use chemical weapons in an upcoming conflict. The claim came amid a building political crisis between Pyongyang and Washington in the Korean Peninsula. The charges came via a report by Pyongyang's official media outlet, the Korean Central News Agency, entitled U.S. Biological War Plan Against Korean Nation Under Fire. The article cited a spokesman for the North Side headquarters of a nationwide special committee for probing the truth behind the GIs, a government agency tasked with investigating U.S. war crimes, as saying Thursday that evidence had been uncovered that the U.S. transported chemical weapons to South Korea port city of Busan in preparation for war. The U.S. has fully revealed its criminal scenario to make no scruple of using biological weapons to exterminate the Korean nation in order to realize its wild ambition for dominating the world, the committee statement read according to the KCNA. For years, Pyongyang has claimed the U.S. government was preparing the so-called Plan Jupiter, a biological attack on the North Korean peninsula intended to topple the government of Kim Jong-un. The U.S. has not officially responded to these claims. However, no evidence has been publicly presented to substantiate them. There's a battalion of U.S. Army, 23rd Chemical Battalion, wearing their gas mask. This was at Camp Stanley. It says the latest commentary came in response to earlier intelligence reports from Japan, a regional U.S. ally, claiming that North Korea had produced weaponized sarin gas. In response to these reports, Japanese President Prime Minister Shinzo Abe told his parliament last week that the nation was under the threat of a chemical weapons attack by North Korea. Quote, "The security situation around our country is getting increasingly severe," he said, according to CNN. North Korea is one of 6 nations that has not signed the 1993 Chemical Weapons Convention, the Nuclear Threat Initiative, a U.S.-based nonprofit opposed to the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, estimated in its 2015 report that North Korea possessed somewhere between 2,500 and 5,000 tons of chemical weapons. In a 2016 report, the organization said the U.S., which was a signatory of the Chemical Weapons Convention, had produced 28,000 metric tons of chemical weapons by 2013. The treaty mandated that all parties destroy their chemical weapons stockpiles by 2007, with possible extensions to 2012. In 2015, the U.S. began destroying its chemical weapons stockpile, with plans to eliminate stockpiles by 2029. President Donald Trump has condemned the use of chemical weapons and demonstrated his willingness earlier this month to use military action to enforce his stance. When reports emerged of an apparent chemical weapons attack in the rebel-held Syrian province of Idlib, the U.S. quickly blamed Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and launched a cruise missile strike on a Syrian airbase, despite Damascus and Moscow's denial of responsibility. The preemptive strike, the first such U.S. action against Assad throughout Syria's 6-year conflict, has raised concerns that a U.S. Navy strike group headed toward the Korean Peninsula could conduct a similar move against North Korea if Pyongyang pursued a 6th nuclear test, as it has threatened to do. The U.S. and South Korea held last month Warrior Strike 6 drills, which included disarming and securing simulated North Korean chemical weapons stockpiles. And this is a little statement here on what the Chemical Weapons Convention entails here. The Chemical Weapons Convention, CWC, is an arms control treaty that outlaws the production, stockpiling, and use of chemical weapons and their precursors. The full name of the treaty is the Convention on the Prohibition of the Development, Production, Stockpiling, and Use of Chemical Weapons and on their Destruction, and it is administered by the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, an intergovernmental organization based in The Hague. Netherlands. The treaty entered into force in 1997. The Chemical Weapons Convention comprehensively prohibits the use, development, production, stockpiling, and transfer of chemical weapons. Any chemical used for warfare is considered a chemical weapon by the convention. So it looks like the rhetoric is ramped up so high, so heated, that it's only a matter of time. And I think that the advent of our armada of strike groups that are going to be posted there here in the next few days on the North Korean peninsula is going to escalate to a point where we're going to actually have a conflict. And it looks like it's coming pretty quickly. If they don't back down, if they don't flinch, if they don't reach out for some kind of mediated deal between China and the U.S., there is going to be conflict here real soon. So we need to be prayerful, keep everybody in regards to these negotiations in prayer, ask the Lord that this does not escalate, because if it does, it's going to be very, very bad.